This for all of you. What love is joined together. What love is joined together. Can't nobody take it up. Oh. Ah. Hey y'all, let's do this. I'm going to do a workbook lesson for you. You don't have to clap the whole time, but I just thought it would get the juice going. If you, of course, feel like it, then it's okay. I want you to know that what you create with enthusiasm manifests. So I'm going to say enthusiasm creates. Enthusiasm creates. Yeah, enthusiasm creates. Enthusiasm creates. Now take a breath and listen. So the lesson that I'm going to do for the quick meditation goes like this. I am sustained by the love of God. 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 Do you know that this is the answer to every problem that will confront you today and tomorrow and throughout time? In this world, you believe you are sustained by everything but God. What does that mean? Your faith is placed in the most trivial and insane symbols. Let me tell you what your faith is placed in. It's placed in pills, money, protective clothing, influence, prestige. Your faith is placed in being liked, knowing the right people, and an endless list of forms of nothingness that you endow with magical powers. Hit it. I am sustained by the love of God. 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 Now, all these things are your replacements for the love of God. All these things are cherished to ensure a body identification. All these things are praises to your fearful mind. Do not put your faith in the worthless. It will sustain you. Hit it. I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God. Ow! I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God. Now, only the love of God will protect you in all circumstances. The love of God will lift you out of every trial. Yeah. The love of God will raise you high above all the plague dangers of this world into a climate of perfect peace and to a climate of safety. The love of God will transport you into the state of mind that nothing can threaten and nothing can disturb, where nothing can intrude upon the eternal calm of the innocent child of God. Hit it! I am sustained by the love of God. Say what? I am sustained by the love. Tell somebody, go. You are sustained by the love of God. You are sustained by the love of God. Say what? You are sustained by the love of God. Well, we are sustained by the love of God. Say what? We are sustained by the love of God. We are sustained by the love of God. Woo! Take a breath. We say, we are sustained by the love of God. We are sustained by the love of God. Yeah, we are sustained by the love of God. Can we give it up? Man, I love quiet meditation. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you. Yes. So today, we're going to be on lesson 76. If you got the workbook, that's the Course in Miracles, it's the workbook lesson. 76. Woo! I needed that. I'm telling you. Okay, come on up here. Yes. 76. Okay, there we go. There's some extra copies up here if you want to borrow one. I'm going to go through a paragraph, and then I'm going to tell you what I see in it, and then we're going to throw it open for a discussion if we want to for about 5 minutes, and then we'll go to the next one. Are you trying to be limited in any way? Are you ready to know your power?
Yes.
Are you willing to get in touch with it? Okay. It's important if you want to hear this section to realize that you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it. Some of it's going to be hard to believe, some of it's going to be quite startling. But it's not your understanding of it that makes it work, it's the use of it that makes it work. And what the Course in Miracles is talking about is how do we get all of the interfering thoughts out of the way so that we can hear the voice of our higher self communicating to us, telling us what to do every day. Because the only reason why you're suffering in any way is because you're not listening to yourself with a capital S. Are you listening to the Course, the voice that you're making up in your own mind, your own fantasies, and then you are trying to act them out, rather than finding out what's really being said to you from your greater self, God within you, that's telling you exactly what to do in every moment of the day that would allow you to have the kind of peace that you want. So that's why I started out with, I am sustained by the love of God. If you notice in that very first paragraph when I was sharing it, was that it really says, the truth is you jokers think you're into God, but you're really not into God. Your faith is really placed, Earl, in pills. You got that Tylenol. That's where my faith is placed. My faith is also placed in that paycheck. That's what I think is taking care of me. If I be honest, I think that what's protecting me in the wintertime is the clothes I'm wearing. And that I think that if I'm going to get a job, I need to have some influence, prestige, somebody needs to like me, and I need to know the right people. And the Course says we got an endless list of forms of nothingness that we endow with magical powers. And what does that mean? It means that we think there are many things outside of ourselves that's taking care of us except that which created us. So our faith is really placed in stuff outside of us, if we be really honest, and not really into the grand creator of us and where we came from. So today's class, I decided, Spirit told me, what I want you to talk about, I'm under no laws but God's today. That you're under, and I'll give you another term for laws that the Course in Miracles uses, which is the term rules. I'm under no rules but God. And what is God? God is the infinite love that created us. It's not a person, it's an infinite love that created us. And one of the shapes and forms that infinite intelligence can take can be what appears like a person. And in that case, I'm looking at God. All of the different manifestations and expressions of the one. That's what we're looking at right now. But we're pretending that we don't know that. So we're actually God playing with itself. So I hereby ask God to use me to get off. I would like to have a Godgasm, please. I would really love that. Multiple.
Unlimited.
You too. Anybody else? Yeah. Good. Yeah. See, I'm looking for the freaks in the house. Thank you. F-R-E-E-K-S.
Yes.
The freaks. All right, we're the freaks, right? Okay. And so I'm going to go through this, and there are a lot of really cool parts of this. I'm not going to necessarily try to go to, I've never finished the whole thing in an hour, so I'm going to give it a try. This is one of the deepest lessons in the workbook. And so I'm going to do it in a way that sounds like a conversation. So when we say I'm under no laws but God's, we're saying that I am under no rules but love's. God is love, so therefore I'm not under any rules but the rule of love. God is love, so I'm not under any rules but love rules. Those are the rules I'm learning how to follow. True love rules. I'm under no laws but God's. And then it goes on to say, we've observed how many senseless things have seemed to you to be salvation in your happiness. But everything that you thought was going to make you happy has imprisoned you with laws as senseless as itself. But you're not bound by all these rules or laws that you made up to make you happy. Yet to understand that this is so, you must first realize that your salvation, which is your happiness, does not lie in all the senseless things that you made up to save yourself. Actually, while you seek for your happiness in things that really don't have any meaning, then you're binding yourself to laws that make no sense. So you are seeking to prove that your happiness is where it isn't. Because it's difficult to find something where it's not located. So if you haven't found it, you're not looking where it is. Does that make sense? So today we will be glad that you can't prove that your happiness is where it isn't, because that would be a fruitless search for me to be looking for my Course in Miracles book in the parking lot. No matter how much I studied, I'd never find it there, because that's not where it's located. So you keep looking for it, and we keep looking for it in things and people and circumstances outside of ourselves that we think are going to give us what's inside of ourselves. You're going to give me what's really in me. And so I think it's in your body, you think it's in my body, and so I'm trying to get it in your body, and you're trying to get it out of my body, because we think that's where the happiness is located. You hid it in your body. Something your body says, does, owns, is, has. That's what I want. And so the Course in Miracles says, because if you could prove that your happiness was where it isn't, you would forever seek your happiness where it isn't, and that means you'll never find it. So the idea for today, I am under no laws but God's. Whew. Tells you once again how simple is your happiness. Look for your happiness where it waits for you, and that's where you're going to find it. So think of the freedom that recognition brings, that it is there, but you just need to look at where it's really located. So, now, I want you to think of the freedom. I love this. It says, think of the freedom in the recognition that you're not bound by all the strange and twisted laws you set up to save yourself. Be glad that you are not limited by all the stuff that the world has taught you that you must do in order to be happy. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, shall I? Y'all so damn cool. You were worthy reflections. Yes, I'm going to pass this around. If you sign up for the contact list, but first I'd like to say, under your seats, you have a car, and you have a course, and you have a course, and you have the truth, and you have... I'm Oprah. You have the truth, and you have the truth, you have the truth. But when you sign up for my contact list, you get a link that allows you to watch the videos that I'm making of the classes so that you can see it again, so that you can remember what's being said, because it needs to be repeated many times before we accept it as true. So, now, this is a great paragraph. It says, you really think that you would starve unless you had stacks of green paper strips. I want you to be with that for a minute. You think you would starve unless you had piles of metal disc. And I added, and plastic. Right? I think I'd starve if I didn't have paper strips called money. I always call money paper strips. You know why? Because the mind already believes it's easy to create paper. So if I call money paper strips, my mind creates more of it. Because my mind already believes it's easy to create paper strips. But if I say money, I've been programmed to think money is hard to come by. Paper strips. Call money. Money is paper strips. Money is paper strips. Money is paper strips, metal, disc, and plastic. Paper strips, metal, disc, and plastic. That's all about us. So the Course says, you really think that you would starve unless you have stacks of green paper strips and piles of metal disc? You really think that a small round pellet called a peel or some fluid pushed into your veins through a sharpened needle will ward off disease and death? You think if someone pushed some fluid into your veins through a sharp needle, it will keep you from getting sick. You really think that you are alone unless there's another body with you. You think unless there's another body with you, you are alone. You think that unless there's another body with you, you are alone. Now, the Course in Miracles says something radical. That's why I said you don't have to believe it. The very next line says, it is insanity to think these things. It is insanity. What you talking about? Well, it's insanity to think that you would starve unless you had money. It's insanity to think that it's really medicine that's warding off disease and death. And it's also insanity to think that you're by yourself just because you don't have another body hanging out with you. The Course says that's insane. Now you see why I said you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it, and why it brings up resistance, and so that's why I said you don't have to believe it. Now, you put them under laws. That means you put these things under different names in a long catalog of rituals. We do a long catalog of rituals. Do you know you have a ritual when you get up in the morning, that you have a ritual? When you get ready to go to work, you have a ritual, don't you?
Yes.
You get up, first you throw the clock across the room, and then you get up and then you go take a shower, you got a ritual. The Course says we live according to these long catalogs of rituals that we think we must do if we're going to be taken care of. So your work all day is a ritual. That's deep, isn't it? Like what you're doing for your health is a ritual. Now, is this saying that you should not do these things, and if you use these things, somehow or another, you are somehow missing the boat? Not necessarily, because the truth teaches that the way that we are moved into the awareness of our unlimited power as spiritual beings is for spirit to take everything we've made up, including money and medicine and relationships and everything else. Spirit is going to use whatever we believe to move us to the truth. So it's not saying, oh my God, I can't focus on money. Well, actually, you're already learning how to live without it. You look at your checking account. You've already become spiritually enlightened. You're probably getting lots of opportunities to practice feeling like you're not alone when the body's not with you. Right? So the Course in Miracles is saying to us, everything you believe, everything you have made, every skill you have learned can be used to wake you up to the love that you are. So don't walk away from here saying, I said you shouldn't take your prescription, I said you shouldn't allow yourself to have money. That's crap. I didn't say none of that. But I did say it's insane. All right? According to the Course. According to the Course. Not Earl. That's right, don't shoot the messenger. You know, you receive a bad news from the mailman, you don't go out and jack him up next to the van. What you bring me that news for, dude? You know, none of us do that, so don't do that to me. All right, I'm not the one who created the Course in Miracles.
Right.
I'm the one who's trying to practice it like you. That's who I am, okay? So it then says, it's insanity that thinks these things. You call them laws. You put them under different names. You put them in a long catalog of rituals that have no use and serve no purpose. You think you must obey the laws of medicine. You think you must obey the laws of economics. You think you must obey the laws of health. You think that if you protect your body, you will be saved. These are not laws, but madness. Woo, that's different. Do you know what endangers your body? He says the body is endangered by the mind that hurts itself. Your body is hurt by your mind projecting its guilt and anger onto your body. Your body is endangered by your own thinking. Your body is endangered by your own thinking. Your body is endangered by your own thinking. Isn't it great to know we don't have to believe that? Accept that or welcome that. But does that change the truth of it? You might not want to accept that I'm Earl, but does that change the truth of it? No. So you may not want to accept the truth, but that doesn't make it not be true. So the Course is saying to us, the body suffers just in order that the mind will fail to see that the mind is the victim of itself. Now, what in the hell does that mean? That's what I would just say. I just go ahead and say that for everybody. Isn't that good? I know the man is speaking English, but I don't know what the hell he just said. That is truly the way the Course in Miracles works. That's what attracted me to it. I had a black belt in metaphysical teachings. Thought is created. I make my reality. Just visualize and you see it. Then I would read, the body suffers just in order that the mind will fail to see that it's a victim of itself. What the hell? You know why? Because it's so obvious. Let me show you. The body is suffering so that you will never come to the realization that it's your mind that's creating it. You think it's the weather, you think it's the germs, you think it's whatever it is that you think is hurting your body. It's hiding the fact that it's your mind that's creating what you're going through. So your body's suffering is actually hiding the truth, which is that it's your mind that creates your reality. Isn't that awesome? It's your mind that's creating your reality. So if it's your mind that's creating your reality, then all the suffering that we go through that makes us focus on being a victim of something outside of ourselves is distracting us from the realization that it's our thought that's creating our experience. So while I'm busy blaming you, it's keeping me from recognizing I'm the creator of my experience. And that's what all the outside focus and suffering and upset is doing. Even the good stuff is doing the same thing. Right. Because even if you have happiness that comes from going to Hawaii or having new clothes or having the body you want or whatever, that's still you convincing yourself that your mind isn't having anything to do with what you're going through, but it's something outside of yourself that's making you happy. So the happy dream keeps you dumb just as much as the unhappy dream does. The things you like can keep you just as unaware as the things you think you don't like. Because both of them can trick you into thinking that your happiness is coming somewhere else except from your own thinking. So then you think you have to preserve that Disneyland trip. You got to preserve that special relationship. You got to preserve that job in order to feel real good because you think that's what's taking care of you. So you are effectively fooling yourself about your ability as an infinitely created being through the absolute receiving of the things outside yourself that you think that make you happy or sad until you become conscious. Until you become conscious. So, God, I love the forms that my mind has taken in reflecting the love that I have for myself to me. Wow.
Yeah.
I love my consciousness. Based on what I see, my consciousness is great. Look at what's in front of my face. You understand what I'm saying? So I know that you're there because of the way I think, and you know that I'm here because of the way you think. It's our consciousness that creates how we see things in our reality. Okay, so the truth is telling us right now that your body's suffering is actually a mask. Woo! That your mind is holding up to hide what really suffers. So if your suffering and sickness and lack is a mask, then it's hiding what's really suffering, and what's really suffering is my mind. Your mind would not understand that it is its own enemy. Your mind doesn't want to understand that it's attacking itself. Your mind doesn't want to really come to grips with the fact that it wants to die.
Right.
How many times have you been in such despair at some time in your life that you said to yourself, I wish I was dead? I've said it, especially when I was a kid. I was wishing I was dead every other day. And black in the South too? Yeah, I wished I was dead. But now we're all spiritual, so we can't say stuff like that. Spiritual people don't say stuff like that. They don't say stuff like, I wish I was dead. I love everybody. Bullshit. Okay, now. Who was that I was channeling? That was Crapcast. You know what it's Comcast? That was Crapcast. That was cable. I love it when people say that. I love everybody. It's a bunch of crap you ever heard come out of their mouth. But it's a great goal. It's a great desire to love all of you. I want to love all of you. I really do. Just not that there. But just y'all. Nobody else but y'all. Y'all special. I just love y'all. You see, that's tough. I love y'all. Yeah, from the South, you cut to the chase. You don't say whole words. That takes too much time. You don't go like, I am getting ready to go to the store. You go, I'm fixing to go to the store. That's it. So when you go to the South, you might not understand what most people say. Just go down. Yeah, it's a whole nother reality down there. Yeah, I know who from the South. Anybody here from the South?
Man.
Oh, no wonder we all escaped, didn't we? This was the Underground Course Railroad. we got on the course road, didn't we? But the South got a lot of soul, though.
Yes.
It's the soul of the South.
They have a lot of manners too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, they be very polite and then plunge a knife in your neck.
Yes.
No, that's not true of everybody. I mean, all my Southern watchers, I'm with you now. All right, I love y'all. I tell you, my niece came to visit me unexpectedly on Friday. We had a chance to hang out together, and it was just such a loving experience. It was just the shot of in my arm that I need, because she and I have such an incredible relationship that we've had ever since she was, well, first born. I looked at her astrological chart, and I told her mother, I said, that is an artist. She has all types of artistic talent that's hidden that you may not know about. And so she went through her life in a normal way, and then she got into college, and for some reason one day she just, something prompted her. I forget she told me exactly why, but she started to paint or write. And she ended up having this incredible artistic talent that she ended up putting on all kinds of shows in Memphis, and stars have used her stuff. Rita Marley, and she did the thing with Bob Marley and Rita Marley. And, you know, it's like, it was such a trip to watch her find the talent that I saw through spirit in her as soon as she was born. But see, we don't believe in stuff like intuitive psychic knowledge, because we're all Westerners. So we only believe the intellectual side of things. And so we leave off so much of the gifts that could be made available to us, because we think everything has to operate through logic and reasoning and intellect, instead of knowing that you all have the gift of complete intuition. You came here with a divine plan. There's a blueprint of the intentions of your soul for why you showed up here in the first place. You're unhappy because you're not doing what you came here to do. That's why you're unhappy. That's why you're broke if you think you're broke. That's why anything that's not happening is because the Course in Miracles says your happiness and your function are the same thing. That if you're truly fulfilling your function, you will be happy. If you're not happy, you're not fulfilling your true function. End of story. You're doing what society told you should do in order to make it. And so you're paying the price for not having the courage to pursue your own inner gifts, and giving that the same amount of attention as we give the Broncos. And that's Bob. You're innocent, but your life should be a glorious grand gift that excites you to no end. And when you wake up in the morning, you're glad to see what's going to happen today, because you know some grand adventure is awaiting you that's coming from the realization of the practice of your true self.
Yeah. Yes.
And you can go see the Broncos. You understand what I'm saying? So the Course in Miracles says, it is from, I love this, it says your mind doesn't understand that it's its own enemy, your mind doesn't understand that it's attacking itself, your mind doesn't even understand that it wants to die. As a matter of fact, it is from this, your so-called laws would save the body, it is for this that you think you are a body. I think I am a body so that I can hide from myself what I really am, because I'm afraid to get in touch with my true power and who I really am.
Yes.
So now I think I'm just this body that's going to live a few years, try to have a few relationships, and then die. And the Course in Miracles is saying, bullshit! That is not true. That is not true. You're awesome. And it's about time we let that awesomeness come out. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. So any questions or comments about what I've said so far?
Just taking it in, Earl.
You just taking it in?
Yeah.
Me too, brother. That's exactly what I'm doing.
I had a realization
Okay.
that the part about when it feels like something outside of me is making me happy, that it's really my own mind, I was kind of conflicted about that because I felt like, wow, something outside me just happened that was really great and it's making me feel better. And I was thinking, well, how does that work? That it was outside me, but I'm feeling better, but it's really my mind that created what happened outside me.
And remember that everything that's happening outside of you is neutral. It doesn't have any meaning until you give it a meaning. Right? And so what made you happy was the meaning you gave what you just saw.
But did I also create it?
But you, at another level, you also created it because we're ultimately the one creator. We're all part of that one creator. But the most important idea to begin to accept at first is the idea that you're the one that's giving meaning to what you see.
Absolutely.
It's more important at this point in your spiritual awakening to accept that you're the one that's giving the meaning, that's creating your feelings, and for you to concentrate on the idea that you're creating what is happening to you. That, as a matter of fact, the recognition that you're creating what's happening to you is easier to handle when you realize you're the one that's giving it the meaning first.
Right.
Because if you experience something that's happening to you that seems like some people say, you trying to tell me I created that car wreck? See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then what that is a distraction. Yeah. Because while the person is busy resisting that idea, they could be accepting the idea that they're the one that's giving the car wreck all the meaning it has.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So don't trick yourself in trying to jump for the highest concepts first, because that's a good way to stop you right in your tracks without going any further. Because if I could just accept that everything that's happening to me is neutral, and I'm the one that's giving it the meaning that it has for me, which means I'm the one that's giving myself the happiness about it or the unhappiness about it, I've gotten the 99% of what I need to know to have a happy day all day. I just need to give meanings all day long that don't upset me.
Already.
And what would be the meaning that I could give to everything all day long, no matter what it is that would not upset me but help me? Everything that happens is for my own best interest. Suppose no matter what happened to you, I lost my job. That was for my own best interest. I was in a car wreck. It was for my own best interest. What if you believe that love was behind everything, that there is nothing that is not ultimately rooted in love, even if we don't know how? Then there wouldn't be anything that could happen that you wouldn't see in a more peaceful way. I don't care how bad it seemed to be. So if you tell yourself, I don't perceive my own best interest. A lot of times things I think are for my own best interest, I don't even know it's not. And then you say everything is for my own best interest. So those are two thoughts you could use to help you during the week. You go, I do not perceive my own best interest in this situation. Everything is for my own best interest in this situation. I don't understand or perceive my own best interest. Everything is for my own best interest. Try that no matter what comes up. My boss gave me a horrible evaluation. I do not perceive my own best interest. Everything was for my own best interest. Your ego is going to go, what the hell? But that's all right. That's his job. There's a part of us that's programmed to always be dissatisfied about everything. It has one goal, to make you feel like crap all day. And it tells you stuff that makes you feel that way. But when you realize it's your own mind telling you that, now you got the secret, because then there is nothing outside of yourself making you feel bad. It's a voice inside of you that's making you feel bad. You created the voice, so that means that my brothers and sisters are not hurting me, and it also means my Creator is not hurting me. So I can turn to my brothers and sisters, and I can turn to my Creator, because it's not them that's doing it to me. It's me doing it to me by the interpretations I'm giving to everything that's happening to me.
Yes.
All right? I know that makes you feel good unless you're going through a bunch of crap. Because then you're going to get the temptation is to feel guilty. You mean I'm doing that to myself? You mean it's me that's been giving myself all those relationships? Yeah. Absolutely. And that's going to be the best news you ever heard one day. Because you'll know you have another choice of relationship you can give yourself. So it says, there are no laws except the laws of God. This needs what? Repeating over and 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 over. How long? Until you realize it applies to everything that you've made in opposition to God's will. So I need to tell myself I'm under no laws except the laws of love. I'm under no laws except the laws of my Creator. I'm under no laws except the laws of my Creator. I'm under no rules except God's rules. I'm not under any rules except love's rules. I'm only under the rules of the universe. I'm only under the rules of the universe. I'm only under the rules of the Creator. I'm only under the rules of God. I'm only under the rules of God. There are no rules except God's rules. There are no rules except love rules. How long should I say that over and over and over again until I realize it applies? Realize it applies. Realize it applies. Realize it applies to what? Everything I see. Breathe with me. You gotta shake it off. That's right. The part of you that doesn't want to hear the truth is trying to take you into comatose, immobile, go to sleep. It's hot. It's cold. I'm hungry. I got to pee. I got to pee so bad. All that's distraction stuff to keep us from hearing what's being said. You're innocent if you're doing it. Oh, what's going to happen this evening? What happened last night? What am I going to do next week? All of those are what? Distractions to keep you from hearing that you're under no laws except the laws of freedom. You are so free that nothing interferes with your desire to be miserable.
Yeah.
You are so freaking free that the universe will let you stay in a situation that makes you miserable as long as you want to. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's good news, isn't it? I tell you, I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. So it goes on to say that your magic has no meaning. What is your magic? Your magic is everything that you are doing to take care of yourself that's not based on your connection with your source. It's all your plans, all your fantasies, all your ideas, everything you're making up that you think is going to make you happy. The Course calls that magic because it's you thinking you're doing something that you're not doing. It isn't you that's taking care of you. It never has been you taking care of you, and it never will be you taking care of you because you didn't create you. But it'll freak you out to know that. So freedom lets you think you're doing it until you're willing to recognize you're doing it doesn't work. Then you voluntarily go, I tried to do it my way a million times, it doesn't work. Help me, God. Oh, you're calling for what's already here. So all I have to do is remove the blocks that keep you from seeing that I'm already here for you. So that's great. That means your prayers can happen immediately. When you ask for what you already have, there's no intervening period that you don't have it. In other words, if I ask for the iPod that I already have, I have an instantaneous manifestation. I would like to have an iPod with a cord going out of it. Wow! Ask for what you already have and you can have it immediately. Abundance is your natural state. You already have love. You already have freedom. You already have joy available to you. You already have relationships that can blow your mind already available to you. You don't see them, so you think they don't exist. You see green, they are red. You have to turn over to your red vision so you can see it. And that's what spiritual practice does. It changes your vision so you can see what's already there that you're missing that you could have right now. That's what spiritual practice does. That's what makes it so cool. All right, so then it goes on to tell us that now, I'm going to tell you something else. Now, everything that you are trying to save doesn't exist, and only what you are making is meant to hide will save you. So everything I'm hiding from myself, the truth, the love, the innocence, that's what will save me. Not blaming you, that's what will save me. So everything I'm hiding is actually what will help me. Then he goes on to say, the laws of God, the laws of love can never be replaced. We will devote today to rejoicing that the laws that make you happy, nobody can get rid of them. The things that would make the happiness for you, no one can get rid of that. That's good news. No matter what you've done, you can't get rid of the laws that will bring you everything you've ever wanted in your heart. No matter how bad you are, think you are, you can still have the things that move you in your heart and make you happy. Woo! You are beyond your own era. Something loves you so much that it will keep giving you what you deserve even when you don't think you deserve it. That's what love does. It gives you the love you deserve even when you think you don't deserve it. Wow, that I can relax now. Because that means I can't lose something. It just means I need to get rid of the blocks to know it's there. It's there. It's my inheritance. I will always, like I got my brother called me the other day and said, they found some lost money with your name on it or something. You know, they said they got money and they'll try to say, well, you got something that you didn't know you had or something, you know. They've been holding it for me for 20 years. I didn't know it was there. So just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not there. Because you don't see your good doesn't mean it's not there. Because you don't see your fun and your love and your expression and your creativity, it doesn't mean it's not there just because you don't see it. So what does a spiritual being do for another spiritual being? I see your good for you until you can see it for yourself. I see the good in you until you can see it for yourself. I see the power in you until you can see it for yourself. That's a holy relationship. I'm not in a relationship with you to remind you of all the things you've done wrong that you forgot. I hear people do that.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, so you apologize. Well, you know, I'm sorry for what I did. Well, what about last Christmas? Come on. You got a few more things you need to straighten up about, buddy. I love you. See, that's what messes with your mind. People mistreat you and they follow it up with I love you. Then all of a sudden you go, should I stay? They said they love me. I know they hungry last night, but they said they love me. Haven't you done that? If they say they love you, they just throw, just all of a sudden you go, oh, well, you would normally go, this is a bunch of crap, I'm not going to deal with this. Right. They go, but I love you. They say, but I'm miserable, but they say they love me.
I've done that.
Well, none of us have ever done it. What are you doing among us? This group right here, we be levitating, but we wouldn't want to freak you out. We just having mercy on you. We personally have never gotten angry. We love everybody. All righty. Okay. Then the Course in Miracles says, the laws of God can never be replaced. We will devote today to rejoicing that the laws of God can never be replaced. It is no longer a truth that we would hide. We realize that it is a truth that keeps us free forever. Magic or fear imprisons. The laws of love make you free. So how can I tell when I'm using the wrong rules? I feel more limited. How can I tell when I'm using the right rules? I feel more unlimited and free. Do you feel limited financially? You know that you are not using the laws of God. You feel limited in your relationship? You know you're not using the laws of truth. Wherever you see limitation is where you're not using the truth. Wherever you feel limitation is where you're not using the truth, even though you might tell yourself you are. So always remember, if you're really doing something, you can tell because it will be manifested in your perception. Until then, you're just talking it. That's what's so cool about physical reality. It's great for showing us what we really believe as opposed to what we're telling ourselves we believe. I'm practicing the truth, but I'm miserable. No, that don't go together. Sorry. I'm not practicing the truth and I'm miserable. I study this stuff every day, but it's not working. No, that's your perception that is not working. That's great. Hope you're wrong when you're miserable. Hope you're wrong when you're miserable. Right. Want to be wrong all day long if you're a miserable person. You don't want to be right about anything if you're miserable. Yeah. So if you're miserable, just go, I hope I'm wrong, I want to be wrong, I am wrong, please be wrong, help me wrong, please and everybody's telling me I'm wrong when I should be thankful. Yeah. You know, right? Yeah. You don't want somebody to tell you feeling guilty and someone tells you that you're innocent. You go, no, I'm not. I've heard people do that. I've seen people do that. You tell them they're innocent and they'll tell you all the things they feel guilty about. Because they believe feeling guilty protects them. It makes them a good person. Good people feel guilty. No, guilty people get punished. Guilty people get punished. That's what guilty people do. So you better let go of that, I'm guilty, I'm guilty, I'm guilty, and just say I'm making an error, I'm making an error, I'm making an error, I'm making a mistake, I'm making a mistake. Because if you say I'm making a mistake, now check this, hear this now, if you say I'm making a mistake, your mind doesn't like it. Because you know we want to be right more than we want to be happy. We don't like anybody telling us we're wrong. We want to be right, right? So if you say to yourself it's a mistake, your mind goes, oh Lord, no, I never make mistakes. Everybody else makes mistakes. So your mind will automatically start correcting whatever the issue is if you call it a mistake. But if you say you feel guilty, you're asking the mind to punish you. And all you get is punishment instead of help. And you feel bad, you know. Oh, I'm a good person, I feel guilty about everything. That's why you're catching hell from everywhere. Because you're a good person who feels guilty. And you're cute too. That even makes it even worse. I'm too cute to be going through this crap. Now, cuteness alone should save me from most things. Don't you think so? Aren't y'all too cute to suffer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I said, well, yeah. Aren't you too cute to suffer? Tell the truth. You know, you want to be vain, just tell the truth. You think you're too cute to suffer. That's all right. Thank you. Does this face deserve to suffer? That's what I'm talking about. Yours either. I see so many great smiles today. So I love all of you too much to ask you out. People that ask out, we got some issues we're working out. We got past life stuff we're working out. That's right. Isn't that great? You can't be attracted to a person who's not the perfect match to your pattern. Don't forget that. You see them from across the room and you go, oh, yes. You're my perfect pattern match. Perfectpatternmatch.com. That's what I'm going to open up for you. You're attracted to me, you got my pattern. Isn't that deep?
Oh my God, that would work.
Yeah, it would. It absolutely would work. Which isn't a problem if you're willing to go beyond it. Which isn't a problem if you're willing to say, hey, I want to get to the love behind our pattern. Right. Then you could have fun with that person. But if you get in there pretending you don't have one, and you get in there going through a lot of stuff that you don't like. Are you actually saying to each other, oh my God, I love you completely. I'll never disappoint you. I'll always be there for me. I'll never get angry with you. I'll never get mad with you. You're the one. I'm going to just love you all the time, 100% of the time. And you're one of these people. Don't you know that you're saying something that you can't keep? A promise, you're making a promise you can't keep, in the minute you don't do it, they're going to think you're a liar and a fraud.
Then you'll be guilty. And
you'll be guilty. You just well said at the very moment, I'm totally dysfunctional and insane. Will you go out? And the conscious person will go, I am too. Let's work this out. Let's go beyond this together. Let's do it together. And then you won't have unrealistic expectations of perfection from each other. So you can forgive each other because you're not expecting each other to be perfect from the very beginning. But we don't do that, do we? We go, oh, I'm never going to be mad at you. You'll never go off. I'll never go off on you. Then what's the hatchet doing above my head? Jesus. All right. Okay. We're going to realize that this is a truth we won't hide anymore. We're going to realize that it's a truth that keeps us free forever. We realize that magic imprisons, the laws of God does what? Make free. Okay, so now we're going to finally, I'm going to jump over a little bit because we're running low on time, and now there's some key things I want you to hear. What I want you to hear is that the last part of this lesson tells you exactly how to tell if you're listening to the voice of your higher self. Exactly how to tell if you're listening to the voice of love, if you're listening to the voice of God. Is that worth knowing?
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's do the financial expression of appreciation, take care of that little break, and then I'm going to share that right at the end. So let's do that. Thank you so much for sharing with me in my full-time ministry with the Course in Miracles. Thank you online for being willing to share with me. Just go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can make a financial expression of appreciation on my website. Also, I'm available for one-on-one sessions using all the truth principles that I've studied. We will apply it to your particular situation and circumstance, and if you're open to it, I'll also use my knowledge of astrology and numerology to bring it into your situation to get additional insight that comes from your own higher self. So if you're open to that, there is a solution. There's another way to look at whatever it is you think you're going through, and it might be to your advantage to invest some money in you. Actually. So I'm here. For those who want to use me, I'm here. I love to be used. It's the cars that are not used that don't crank up. And you know what I'm saying? Most people, don't use me, don't use me. I'm saying, use me, use me, use me. If anything, I get upset because I'm not used enough. Being used is a good thing. Yes. You just want to make sure you're being used in the way you want to be used. Right. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Then you won't feel resentment and a sense of sacrifice. Got it? Got it. If you got something to give, be willing to give it. Be willing for it to be used. then you'll attract people who also want to give with you and are willing for you to use them in any way that benefits both of you. Your outer world is nothing but a mirror, a reflection of your own consciousness. I'll say that 1,000,000 times. You're meeting your own mind. All day long, you're walking around in your own mind. This is going on in your mind. Everything you see is happening in your mind because you're the one that's seeing it. And you're the one that's giving it meaning. So I'm not outside of you, I'm inside of your mind. And you are inside of my mind, and we're inside each other's mind, so it says to me there must only be what? One mind. And we're all part of that one mind. There's just one of us here.
Yeah.
That's it. Whoa! I'm so glad that I'm a part of you. I'm honored. He's right. Okay, so how can you tell if you listen to the voice that's real and if you listen to the voice that's not? It says right here that you'll be listening to a voice who says, number one, there is no loss. So if you have a voice that's telling you you're losing, it's a lie. Payment is neither given nor received. Right, you aren't paying me, you're sharing with me. So exchange really can't be made. There are no substitutes, and nothing is replaced by something else. So spirit is not going to replace one person in your life with another person in your life. It's not going to replace one thing with another thing. It's not going to substitute anything for anything else. And another way you can tell when you're listening to the laws of love and the laws of God is that you're in a situation where things are being forever given but nothing taken. Woo! So you also will hear your higher self who tells you to realize just how foolish are the laws you thought upheld the world you thought you saw. That happened today when we were told how foolish the rules we've been living by are. Because the rules we've been living by are rules that tell us everything we want is separate from us and outside of us, and we can't have it unless we go outside of us to get it. He says that's foolish. Another way that you could tell is that the voice of your real self will tell you about how much love your Creator has for you. So the voice of your real self will always say you are loved by that which created you. You're not seen as sinful, you're not seen as bad, and you're not seen as guilty. So any voice that's telling you that you're sinful and you're bad and you're guilty is not the voice of God. It's not the voice of love. Woo!
Yes.
Okay, you with me?
Yes. Yeah.
And also, if you listen to the voice of your greater self, your higher self, your internal teacher, it will also talk to you about the endless joy that the universe is giving you. The universe wants to give you some happiness that never ends. God wants to give you happiness that never ends. Love wants to give you happiness that never, ever, ever, ever stops. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! And then it says that if you listen to your real self, you'll hear about how your Creator is yearning for you. I'm yearning for you. I'm yearning for you. Wow. Because you are the channel for creation. And the reason why you're not being used for creation, do you know what creation is? Creation is the extension of love, the extension of happiness, the extension of joy. That's creation. So you're here to extend happiness, extend joy, and to extend life, and to extend freedom, and to extend abundance. And the only reason why you're not being used that way is your own belief in hell, your own belief in fear, your own belief in weakness, your own belief that you're not enough, and that you're not the magnificent being that you are. That's the only thing that keeps you from being used for all the happiness you could ever imagine is your own self-image. So let us today open our channels to God. Let's let the will of love extend through us, and that way all of creation is endlessly increased, and we're going to let the voice for our higher self speak of this to us. We're going to let the voice of our higher self speak to us of the joys of heaven. The Course in Miracles calls heaven reality. It says where we really came from, who we really are, is heaven. Is heaven. Not go to heaven. You are heaven. Woo. And haven't you been with people before and you felt like you were actually experiencing heaven? That you are heaven. So you can go to heaven. And sometimes for you it can be as easy as getting in the car, taking a little drive. All right. So the Course in Miracles says we're going to repeat this idea until we've listened and understood what? There are no laws but God's. And then we will tell ourselves as the dedication with which the practice period concludes what? I am under no laws but God's. And that's the same as saying, I am under no rules but love's rules. Got it? I am under no laws but God's. We will repeat this dedication as often as possible, at least 4 or 5 times an hour, as well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as subject to other laws. So every time I am tempted to see myself as guilty, afraid, lacking, alone, sick, miserable, I'm going to respond to that by saying, I know I feel upset about what just happened to me at work, but I'm under no laws but the laws of God. I know that sometimes I can look at something that's going on with my relatives and my friends right now, in this situation, in this relationship, but I'm going to tell myself I am under no laws but God's. It is what? Our statement of freedom. Freedom from what? All tyranny and danger. You mean this statement will protect me from crossing Colfax Avenue? That's enough alone to make me practice this. They don't mess around on Colfax, man. Every other day I look in the paper, somebody's hitting around on Colfax, you know what I'm saying? So this is enough to make me practice right now, to be able to get up there to peace in one piece. I'm going to practice this stuff, right? If you say I am under no laws but love's, I'm under no laws but God's, it is your acknowledgement that God is your creator and that you as the son and creation of God is saved. So we're going to take a couple of minutes, and this is where I like to do my thing. The way I like to do my thing is that everybody feels okay to not do it or to do it. Some people like to just listen. Some people like to participate. I want you to do what feels natural for you, because in that way we're all on the same page. Right? All right. So I'm going to do what it's telling me, because something tells me that might have something to do with it happening. It's a stretch. But I'm just saying. And it just said repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. So I'm going to repeat this for a couple of minutes. And anybody that wants to repeat it with me, that's fine. But I'm going to do what I'm told so I can have what I want. I love myself that much, because it's time for us to stand on the top again. Under no laws of God. I am under no laws. Couple of minutes, let's go. I am under no laws of God. 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 Hey, I am under no laws of God. Now when you get your body involved, it affects your mind stronger, because it takes more feeling and memory to move your body than just to do the mind. So don't be shy. I am under no laws but God. I am under no laws but God. I am under no laws but temptation. I am under no laws but God. I temptation to do it. have mercy. I'm trying to have. Oh, yes. All right, mighty companions. Okay.